Wewe. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. Tumetoka season ya love. And there's a question that has been gnawing at my mind. Nimejipata nikijiuliza, is marriage still worth it in our generation? Kulingana na venye scene inakaa na venye watu wamebadilisha lifestyles. Is marriage still worth it? Is it something that still works? Ama hiyo ni kitu ilipitwa na wakati? Well, I posted this question to the streets and this is what the people had to say.
My name is Roy Odhiambo. I'm coming from Kisumu. I'm a first year student of Moffat Bible College. I'm married to one beautiful girl, or lady I would say so. And God has blessed us with one kid.
Oh.
Yes.
Nice. So, Odhiambo, today we're talking about marriage.
All right.
And maybe the first question I will pose to you is, do you think the people in our generation view marriage differently than our parents' generation did?
Yeah, the people of this generation view marriage very differently compared to how our parents' generation it was viewed. So nowadays, these Gen Zs or the people of nowadays, this generation, they have taken marriage as something that is difficult. They think that when you get married, then you are getting to a prison, which is forever. All right. So they really view it differently, and one of the reasons why they view it differently is because of so many things that has happened in recent marriages. Because I would find a man falling in love with a lady, but now they are not dedicated to God. But we say that a marriage that is dedicated to God is a marriage that works. When you're in God and then you find a lady who is dedicated to the Lord, then together you're gonna make it. So most marriages have failed simply because they have put trust in their own self. Yeah, and I'll give you an example. One of the things that God doesn't like is putting your trust in yourself. And when Abraham tried to do that, because he lied about his wife Sarah, but God was not happy with that. Why? Because he was trying to lean on his own understanding, not understanding of God. So that is why marriages, most of them, they fail, because how it is viewed and then how they approach it.
My name is Cornelius Musa. I'm married, and I thank God because He's chosen me to serve Him. Marriage works, and because marriage comes from God, and it's a design from God, and it's an institution that was meant by God. Marriage, in the positive side, works, and if it works, it means for people who are getting into marriage need proper guidance on what is marriage. And probably for the young people taking into marriage, they're getting into it without proper guideline. That's why probably they see it, it's a failure and it's not working. And because for our parents long time ago, before they went to marriage, they could get counseling and such issues could be discussed by their parents before they got into that union. So the church needs to step in and guide the young people who are getting married, our parents also, so that the marriage can get the salt or the positive energy it requires for people to see that it works. Because God wants people to live together and to have that companion for them to continue serving together and share that love God wants people to have. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
So I'm Joseph Mwoki. Currently I'm from Machakos County, but now I'm a student at Moffat. So I think people today, they view marriage differently. From our generation, they view marriage different from our parents, because most of the Gen Z, they don't believe in marriage. Most of them, they say it's a scam. So, but nowadays Gen Z, they don't want to get married. That they just want to do come we stay. So they fear marriage because of the responsibilities. Yep.
So my name is Alvin Kipngetich, and I'm in Moffat Bible College, currently pursuing theology, and I come from Baringo County, a town called Eldama Ravine. So that's me.
Nice.
Yeah, I think they do. And also we as men, we view it quite differently. Because in the modern era, you have to have financial stability, you have to be really well to start a family, because it's not like the past you could just have 2 cows and a goat and that's how you start life. In the modern society, you actually have to have money. And it's a hectic thing because in the country that we live in, you don't find job easily. Sometimes you have degrees, you have even masters or PhD, but finding a job is a really tough thing. If a man can take care of himself, then how can they take care of a family? So it's quite an hectic thing if you think about it in our generation. It's quite different and it needs a lot of wisdom to cruise through.
Is still worth it, and marriage is one of the best things and the best institution that God brought. The only problem that we have is that the only thing that you need to do is you need to be sure of whom you are getting married to. You need to come to a point where you are capable of approaching or getting the right woman. The Bible says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing, but I will add something: he who finds a good wife, because there's a difference between a good wife and a wife. Okay? So you can find a wife, but he's not a good wife. He's going to just bring you problems and do you many things that things that are going to discourage you even in marriage. So when you locate a good wife, then you are going to do it. Who is a good wife? A good wife is someone who's able to support you. He looks at your vision, not what you have now. When he's able to see your vision, then he would know that this one I can support him, so that this vision will be birthed and something will be birthed out of this vision. So when you locate the right partner and then you put God first, it is going to work out. So marriage is one of the best things that I would encourage even young people who are getting older, or who are Gen Zs who are getting older, who are ready to get married. They should get married. And they don't need to look for what they have, money. Money should not hinder you from getting married. Trust in God and then look for something to do that at least gives you something that you can use to support your marriage or support your partner, and you'll get something also to support your daily life. After that, then you put God first, marriage is going to work out. Because you can also not get married when you don't have anything you are doing. You don't have to be rich, but you have to have something to support your family. Together, when you locate the good wife, it's going to bring out that vision that you have, and it's going to be birthed into something. Yes. So marriage is very good, and I encourage people to get married.
Yes, I could say on my side it's worthy today, but there are people who could see it as unworthy. Because probably they want to escape the responsibilities of marriage, because there is child upbringing and there is a responsibility of caring one another, and people, because probably they don't have finances, they view marriage as unworthy. But it's unworthy when you see it through the angle of God direction, and when you seek God will direct you to see that marriage is worthy. And for people who see it's not worthy and going to probably to do unworthy behavior or activities, which is not marriage, I call that a sin and not doing the right thing. And he has everything that you do out of control has consequence. Yeah, so people need to come back into their senses and understand that marriage works when the good motive is there.
Nice.
I think marriage is still worth it today when the two couples they agree and no, there is no one who is perfect. It's true that all these things they will come, but if they can sit down and solve, still marriage will be worth it. Yeah.
Marriage is worth it, but first you have to know why you're getting into marriage, because people don't have a quite surreal understanding of marriage and what it is. First of all, you have to create a relationship with God, and you have to grow first on a personal level before you now go into a point where you have marriage with someone. And what people fail to understand, it is this thing that you lie to yourself saying wacha watoto wakuje kwanza then you will marry. That's the biggest lie that the devil is trying to impart in lives today. Because you need that relationship with God first before you get into marriage. Marriage is a relationship, but first you have to grow the first relationship with your Creator, with the one who created you. So that when you get into marriage, you know God helps you in a way that you have a moral level of your life to a point where you can treat your partner with love, because you have first learned love from someone who is love himself. You understand? So if you do not learn love from the one who is love himself, how can you love someone? So marriage should be understood first. And people fail to understand marriage before they get into it. But marriage is something really important, because by then the Bible says in Genesis that a man shall leave his home and be joined with a woman and become one. And their role is to fill the world. Their role is to bring up a family. And the only way to bring up a family is being godly enough to bring up a godly family. And so I would say that about marriage.
The reason why people are hesitant about marriage is because, you know, a lot of things happen nowadays. And young people, they get into relationships. After getting into relationships, they find out that there are things, because they have located a lady, and then that lady is not, you know, the right lady for him. Maybe the people who are born again. Find someone getting married to a lady who is not born again. That is very, very, very dangerous. Because it is very easy for a lady to lure you into temptation and to lure you into sin. So when you locate a bad lady, or I wouldn't say a bad lady, but someone who is not right for you, then they begin to do things that are weird. Alright? They begin to hurt your feelings. They begin to do things that you don't like. And then you begin to hate marriage. You begin to say, "Yeah, I'm not willing. I'm not willing. I'll not get married." And I've heard a lot of people say that. Personally, I've met people who say that they're not willing to get married. They don't want to get married. Why? Because of the things that they have seen. Maybe they've gotten involved in such. So they saw something that really discouraged them. Some of them have also seen marriages that does not work. You see partners fighting against each other. You see there is assault in marriages. All of this happens because someone located someone who is not right for him or her, and then after that, there are things or processes they did not pass through in marriage, and then they don't know anything about marriage. So you find out that they fight, they do things that are not right, and then they begin to they break up. Why? Because of such things, and they don't believe in God as well. I've seen a lot of marriages that I've personally attended, weddings that are broken. Why? Because these people did marriage. Some of them don't even go through the marital counseling, which is very important. When you get married and you fail to attend the marital classes, then that marriage cannot work. It is very difficult for that marriage to work, because in that counseling there are so many things you are taught on how to live with your partner, on the don'ts, the do's, on what you're supposed to do at a particular time, how you're supposed to guide your woman. All right? When you fail to attend those classes, then there is no way that marriage can work. You will now get into it with a mindset of living like worldly people, and then that is how it breaks. So that has made really many people, or Gen Zs, or people from this generation, to hate marriage, and most of them are not willing. Most of them.
Yes.
So we need to really put, prayers so that they would change their minds. But of course, it is about the parents also. The way you bring up your child really matters. Because when you bring up a child well, with a good marriage, you're married and you are really doing the things that you're supposed to do for your marriage to work, definitely they will learn from you. And then when they learn from you, they'll do the right thing. And so that is why they are really hesitant and they are unwilling.
Hesitant to join marriage or to have a union. One thing I understand is the character of a person. Because probably you cannot be able to tolerate the character of the other person, because when you get to a marriage, it's a union between two, and there are rules and guidelines between both of you. And probably because you've been brought up in a lifestyle that you want to enjoy your life, you alone, you want to, probably because young people want entertainment and luxury, Probably some of them want to go to clubbing, want to go to enjoy with friends they used to stay with, because they don't want to live the past life. So that's why one of the reasons I could say it's a character formation that may draw back people to live married. And they don't want to get engaged in marriage because marriage has responsibilities, as we said earlier on, and they don't want to shoulder those responsibilities. And shouldering responsibilities is the success of a marriage. Yes.
What makes marriage harder? It's lack of trust. People, they have lost trust with one another. For example, if my partner is working far away from where I'm working, you will find that maybe he's doubting that I'm cheating. So that one, it makes marriage very harder. Yeah.
What makes it harder, according to my perspective, of course, because some people will disagree with me, it is lack of faith. People tend to believe in what they have. So I have cars, I have 2 bank accounts which can support a family. I have all these things. They tend to put their trust and their faith and their belief in all these things that they have, and they forget to put their faith and trust in the one God who, you know, for you to be here, it's with a purpose. God didn't just create you out of the blue. He always knows that you need these things. You have a family. You need to put a bread on their table. You need to provide fees for them. You need to provide rent. So God knows these needs that we have on our daily lives. But someone will say it is hard because they believe in what they have more than who has made them be what they are. And so they look so much on the blessings more than the blesser. You know? So they tend to think that it is by their strength that they can be able to do these things. You may have a lot of money and start marriage, and as soon as you start it, you lose it all. But when you have faith on someone who blesses you, when you have faith on the blesser more than the blessing, then each and every day of your life will be a step of faith, and you will never lack whatever you need. So I think it is harder on them because of a challenge called faith.